Sorry, y'all. They kicked me out. So I'm going to start again. Yeah, they kicked me out. They kicked me out. So those of you that, oh, this is part two. Shit, this is part two. So when everybody catches back up with me, ah, there we go. And then I can do this. So when everybody catches up with me, comes back in. Why did it do that? He would rather. Okay, that's fine there. All right, and I can put that there. Good. Good. This is my stuff. Yep. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm not sure how soon people catch up, but till then, I can fuck around. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm. Uh, yeah, they did. They took me out. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely took me out. It ain't nothing going on up here. We got excellent internet, but yeah, they interrupted the broadcast. I guess I was getting too deep, and I wasn't even getting deep. I'm just fucking around talking. But yeah, so I restarted it. I can keep going. I can go for another hour. I'm gonna have fun tonight. Cause I ain't really got a lot to do tomorrow. Uh Now OTF, golly, why does it keep doing this? Thank you. OTF. How many times do I have to keep adding you? Gosh, I've added you a couple times and it keeps kicking you out. Thank you. KD and Book got locked up. Yeah, they did. They still won though. They still beat us. So that wasn't good. We lost. We went from 6 to shit. I think we end up at 8th place today. So yeah, it was a tough loss tonight. Good game though. Cat looked good. I tell you, what's his name? The big fella from LSU. Um, come on, I'm old man, but he looked good. The big fella. I tell you, the group to put in there is put Towns in with he's number 11 with the other big guy, and then the supporting cast around them because they could because when they went to the tall dude Jabbar or whatever his name is, when they went to him, when they went to Towns and then Edwards and the rest of the crew, they didn't look as to me they looked the best when they had Nas in there. When they put Nas in there, Nas, Towns, because Nas shoots just as well as Towns, as far as spreading the court. But he runs the court a lot better. To me, that was great. Oh, there we go. McDaniels. Yeah, McDaniels always plays. He plays 3. McDaniels plays the 3, and then Ant, and then Michael Conley. Now check this out. Did y'all notice they got the nerve to say that Chris Paul is 6 foot? They also describe Michael Conley Jr. as 6 foot. Now, if you watch the game tonight, Chris Paul looked like he about 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10". Him and Conley is quite a bit. He was quite a bit shorter. So Chris Paul ain't very tall. Exactly. So that is a good lineup for them, and that's what I watch. I watch, where the lineups is and stuff. So, Sid Rudy, yeah, Rudy sucks, and that's why they got rid of Russell. Russell was saying, "We didn't give you all this money and you ain't producing. You ain't producing." So, I don't even think he 5'11". I don't even think he 5'11". I don't even think he that tall. I think he closer to 5'10", maybe 5'11". But they got Conley at 6 foot, 6'1" at the most. And I'm 61 years old and I'm still 6 foot. Because I used to be about 6'1". So I don't know, PJ. I don't know what happened. They cut me off. I don't know. They cut me off. I noticed it was reconnect. I'm looking down here and it's like we reconnecting. So that means some kind of interruption. So I spilled something. Yeah, how is Rudy still in the league? And let me tell you how bogus they did. So do y'all remember when Rudy was crying a couple years ago because he was going to get damn near a $15 million bonus for making All-Star team? He didn't make it. Towns made it. And he was crying. It was $8 million. He was going to make $8 million bonus for making All-Star team. Towns outplayed him the rest of the year. That's why Towns was in the All-Star game. And guess who didn't make All-Pro? They let Rudy make third team All-Pro and left Towns off All-Pro, where he was going to kick in about $15 million of his own. I think it was $12 million that he was going to get that they screwed him around. Another player got screwed around. I know a lot of y'all might be too young to remember this. Barry Sanders' rookie year. If Barry Sanders, they held him out his last game his rookie year because he was about to get a bonus if he'd have played. I don't know if it was lead the league in rushing, but they held him out to hold his bread. And Barry Sanders is one of the most talented backs that didn't work. And when I say he didn't work, he was Barry Sanders about 5'6", 5'7", really short dude. Didn't want to catch the ball, didn't want to block. Now, in his defense, he came up in the run and shoot, where he really didn't have to block. He was running, run and shoot is mostly a running thing, but you do quick hitters to get backs up field. But Barry Sanders didn't want to catch the ball. In the year they played in the NFC Championship, if Barry Sanders would have practiced that year and caught the ball, that's what was open for him. They could have screened him to death. And early in that game, Barry dropped a couple. They quit doing it. Barry didn't like catching the ball. Barry wasn't a complete football player. Walter Payton was a complete football player, not Barry Sanders, Mr. Run Backwards. Until Tom Brady broke the record for, losing the most yards, number 2 is Barry Sanders. That's the record he broke for losing the most yards, was Barry Sanders, his backwards running. And if you look at Gale Sayers, it's always going forward. Barry is side to side and backwards. Look at Jim Brown. Never run backwards. Always forward. And people, Barry, no, that backwards running does not. If he would have went forward or just went down. So I'm way behind. Let me catch up. That watching for them. Let me see. Kid. Exactly. Yeah, Terry's tiny. Yeah. Gobert's garbage. He definitely is garbage. I agree. He's garbage. You showed the tattoo. Yeah, maybe that's what got him mad because I was showing that Boule tattoo. Gobert never. Yeah, like to trade everything you like right now. If you look at the Lakers, Russell, Vanderbilt, and Beasley. This was your offense. You got a lockdown, could play anybody. Vanderbilt can guard anybody. He was here about 3 years. He can guard anybody. He's going to be very helpful if they let the Lakers make a run. Because Vanderbilt is a great defender. And D'Lo, they've turned the basket on for him, but not bad. Not really bad. People forget, he's 6'7". Nice size. So defensive, he's active. For Joe Bear, that makes no... I don't know. I just think it's agenda. We got a foreigner that's a general manager, and he's probably told, to make this move to boost this foreigner that should have never made the league. Rudy should not have played More than 24 minutes in the game. Yeah. Rudy blew the game today on the lows besides the refs. Well, yeah, they Towns, Nas, McDaniels, Ant, Conley is the best five. Yeah, that's what I peeped to. I like Nas. Nas hustles. Nas hustles. And he's 6'10, 6'11. But he hustles. He can match up with anybody. And he can take it to the hoop. And McDaniels is another one like Vanderbilt. See, that's why they got rid of Vanderbilt, because they had McDaniels, because he's 6'7 too. Not quite as strong. Vanderbilt is stronger. He's not quite as strong. There we go. Oh, it's back there. So that's the squad I like. That's the squad I like the most. Whatever. Shit. I don't know. Oh, okay. It's cool. They turned the basket on for Bronny James and McDonald's game. I watched the first half of it. I didn't watch the second half. I was upset that none of our I'm not sure who Mr. Basketball is. I think it's the young man from Jefferson Bloomington. He's a junior though, but and you know McDonald's is for seniors. But it would have been tough for the players here to finish the championships on Saturday and get to travel by Sunday, Monday. I think they were all there by Monday doing the dunk contest, the 3-on-3. So yeah. So did they? So I didn't watch much. I'm doing 100 other things other than watching the game. So Gobert actually used to be solid for the Jazz until the playoffs. Well, hey, Lobo, thank you for joining me. I don't know. Like, where did he really fit in? When he came in, they was trying to destroy the big man when he came in. So, other than the European agenda, what was his real purpose? Where does he fit in? I mean, okay, shot blocker, defensive player of the year, but you see with Steph, they trying to get rid of the big dudes. And for all practical purposes, Donovan Mitchell ain't that tall either. He ain't that tall either. He's a short dude. But it was on for him. So I think Rudy is more, or Gobert is more the European agenda, replacing brothers. I think that's part of that. That's all. Because he doesn't fit what the pro game is. My NBA, I guess I have to sit down. I'll sit down and try to look at it again. I still think the Wolves are going to be in there, as I've said, when I started the other show, because of the sacrifices here. I think that's going to come into play. Now, how will they win the championship? I doubt it, but I think they're going to help them. I think they're going to. Oh, okay. I can do that too. I forgot. Yeah, I think they're going to have whoops, sorry. But on the other hand, will they push the Lakers? I'll tell you one thing interesting though. When I was at the outlet today, LeBron jerseys is on sale. And a lot of times when you see the normal, like LeBron is the biggest basketball star, but his jerseys is on sale for 30% off. That makes you pause and think, okay, they trying to set up for him and his son play together, which we know the son, we know they're going to play together because of the Gatorade commercial, which I've been saying over for years. How Bronny ranked 35 but played 7th most wins in the game. What's this? What does it say? Bronny ranked 35 but played the 7th most minutes in the game. Well, you already know. And Bronny didn't have Adidas on. Bronny had on pink LeBron 20s. He didn't have them Adidas on because they was sponsored by Adidas. He didn't have Adidas on. Now I don't know how many other players had shoe deals, but he definitely wasn't wearing Adidas. Yeah, Michael looks like a midget out there. Yeah, Mitchell looks like Mitchell's a little dude. Mitchell's what, 6 foot, 6'2" at the most. He's shorter than Steph. And Steph lifting at what, 6'3.5"? He's shorter than him. There hasn't been an American MVP since 2018. Good point. No comprendo. The only jerseys I see most stores is Bronze, Morant, and Curry. Lid's got them all. Lid's got them all. Like I want that Lotus jersey, but the one to get was Wiseman when he got traded because that one really dropped and they ate all of them up. But the one at my Lids has the like from a distance that gold on the bottom of the jersey really looks good, and it's a lotus flower with they got a lotus flower here, so when you look at it close up, it don't look as good. But I still might cop that one. But I don't know. All them on sale. The old Rodmans, I like 1991 is the same. That I mean, for if I can get that one for $40, I might get that. I don't know. I'm leery on jerseys because you just don't wear them. My Connie Hawkins jersey in there, I never wear it. Someone stole. Did I mention this the other night? Someone stole my Willis Reed jersey. My X and M, my McNabb jersey, and my Willis Reed jersey. Those are missing. I had a Willis Reed jersey for 10 years, and somebody my ex knew. When I moved, somebody took my McNabb jersey and that Willis Reed jersey, but just don't wear them. So yeah, those are all everything. The Lids got everything. Like even Outlet's got it just as big as Lids that says Mall of America. And you know how they trying to get me with the Negro League stuff. They released the white jersey of the Yankees, the Black Yankees. The Black Yankees. And it's got a top hat. It's in white. I can get it for about $70. Then they hit me with another Chicago Americans. What are they doing? They just, I'm like, oh. Oh, that throwback Trae Young is nice. Okay. I'll say this. I don't mind the Smitty jersey that's the lighter green. It's the white with the lighter green. It's almost Pistol Pete's jerseys is very similar, but Steve Smith, they had that one. But the nice one was, I have to admit, that burnt orange Marbury. My only pause in it, what I'm going to wear with burnt orange. What are you going to wear with burnt orange? But it was a nice jersey. And the Mitch Richmond that was two-tone from Seattle. It was a Seattle two-tone, the Kings, two-tone. So that was kind of clean too. But they got everybody. Lid's got everybody. They got Medlock Lemon. Now, I don't know who would want. I should read what Connie Hawkins says about Medlock Lemon. Does anybody know this story that Medlock Lemon went up to the Rucker Park and tried to play in league games? Y'all ever heard that story? I don't know. Y'all read the book Foul by Connie Hawkins. I got back here. Medlock Lemon goes to Rucker Park. Dude couldn't hoop. Was trying to do tricks because he couldn't hoop. And, he couldn't hoop. Medlock Lemon could not play in a competitive game with real players. Isn't that some shit? And Connie Hawkins breaks it down. This ain't an old Medlock Lemon. This is young Medlock Lemon. Now, I think Medlock was a little older than Connie. Maybe 3 to 4, maybe even many as 5 years. But he couldn't hoop. Isn't that some shit? Now, I've met Curly Neal. I told the story before. Curly Neal lived in Greensboro when I lived down there. When I went to school at A&T, I would see him all the time. Very nice man. I've been to Curly Neal's house. He was a very nice man. He had skills. A&T didn't recruit him. He's from Greensboro. He went to Johnson C. Smith. Curly Neal can hoop. Had a lot of knee issues. He'd fall on one knee and dribble, copying Marcus Haynes. Takes a toll on your body. End up having a lot of knee issues, but very nice man that has some skills. Medlock Lemon, and they got a Medlock Lemon jersey in there. Now, who's wearing that number? First of all, it's number 36, which looks awkward as hell. Just some numbers don't look good on jerseys. Like 27 on any sport does not look good. 27 should be excluded from all sports. It does not look good. Jamal Murray wears it. It does not look good. 27, a regular 7 by itself, and 37, but not 27. 27 looks so awkward. Looks like it shouldn't be a jersey. So, like PJ said, the NBA shorts is the shit, y'all. NBA shorts are the shit in the summertime. They got pockets, they're thick. They are the shit. You gonna wear sports shorts, they are the better shorts to wear. They really are just so comfortable. And so many things match them. Now, if you're going out to a club, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying for comfort walking around in the summertime, NBA shorts. Let me see here. Is this something I could talk about? Yes. I'll hold that though. I'll hold that. As you know, I love clothes. I love shopping. I love hats. I guess that's the memorabilia. Someone asked if I had memorabilia. I guess it's the clothes and the hats. But I've dressed like this all my life. When I was a little boy, the first two jerseys I had was Dick Buckus and Lynn Barney. And then at the same time, I had a Detroit Lions coat, winter coat, and with the Detroit Lions, the Honolulu hat. So I've dressed like this all my life. When they first came out with it, where you could buy the like when you first to get plastic baseball helmets, you had to go to the games. You couldn't buy those in stores. Plastic baseball helmets, you had to go to games to get them, and you could wear them around. I had an Oakland A and a Tiger one. I went to a Tigers game. Now I've talked many times how the old stadiums was built. Tiger stadiums and all the old stadiums was built with a lot of beams, and they were so cheap they would put seats behind the beams, and people would buy these damn seats. I don't know if Nick Taylor remembers that, but people be in Detroit, watching it. It'd be people who have to watch the game like this because their seat is literally behind a beam, and you got to watch it like this. That's how the old stadiums, and that's how cheap they was. That Tiger Stadium was old as hell. That's where I watched my first pro football game too, was in Tiger Stadium. That's why I love the Eagles today. I saw Roman Gabriel standing back there tall. Plus a dude from where I was born, Wajack, Michigan, Vern Davis was playing he was hurt, but he was on the Eagles team. But I saw Roman Gabriel, that big American Indian, standing back there. He about 6'5". I was like, that is my favorite team. It's like, that's my favorite team, y'all. Oh, my dad, PJ said, oh, that 33 for, I think the 33 is cleaner because 33 is Dorsett and 33 is also Dwayne Thomas I talked about last night. So that had to be real clean. Now, I have a 33 Pittsburgh jersey, but the Pittsburgh jersey looks like the jerseys at A&T the year before. I mean, they're identical. Like when you get recruited, they start sending you books and shit, and they send you the upcoming thing of the seasons and stuff, and you can look at the players. If you look at the jerseys that Dwayne Board, who won 4 Super Bowls with the 49ers, because he graduated the year before I got there. He ended up coaching for the 49ers for a year, but he won all. I think he was in at least 3 Super Bowls, if not all 4. Yeah, he was in all 4 because he was in the Super Bowl that they won in Detroit. Yeah. When San Francisco beat Detroit, Dwayne Pee Wee Board was in that one. And those jerseys looks just like the Pittsburgh jersey. So I got a Dorsett 33 Pittsburgh jersey. Yeah. Because it looks like that A&T jersey. That's why I got it. Looks like that A&T jersey. And I have a Roger Staubach jersey. I have a Roger Staubach jersey too. That's how Ingle Stadium in Chattanooga was built. Yeah, the old stadiums was built like that. You watch the old Babe Ruth highlights, and all the stadiums are built with, they needed them beams under them. Like even, I don't know if y'all been into old gyms that had the tracks on top. The yard, does anybody I'm talking to remember them? Like you went into them old, like early 1900 gyms, and the gym had a track above it. Modern gyms copy that, but they did that back then. I played an elementary game when I was in 5th grade that had one of those tracks above it. This was extremely old school. It had beams in the court. Do you understand? It had beams that you had to watch out to run into. Their gym was not a clean gym where you could just, no, it was beams in the playing court. And they had Ricky Thomas, St. Louis brother. And Ricky would use the beams as a pick and could hit the fuck out of them. We still beat him, though, when I was in 5th grade. It was 6th grade team. But that's what Ricky would do. Ricky would get behind, like he would be guarded, and he would kind of fake one way and kind of use the beam as a pick and then shoot. But we had Eddie B. Stokes. who was 5'7" in sixth grade and never got any taller. He was probably 5'6" in sixth grade. He never got any taller, but he was the man back then. He was our center. Eddie B. Shout out to Eddie B if he's still alive. But yeah, that's how old Tiger Stadium was. That's how old Tiger Stadium. I went to a bunch of games, Tigers games, like my birthday when I was 12. Uh, we went to see the Tigers play when I was 12, and then we went to see at the famous Fox Theater. I know Nick Taylor know about the famous Fox Theater. We watched Shaft in Africa, and I was only 12, and it was R-rated. And my brother was younger than that because he went with us. My brother, if I'm 12, he was probably 5. He was like, "Well, I'll close my eyes when they mess around." This is my brother. I'll close my eyes. I'll close my eyes. They're like, close your eyes, Joey. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not looking. I'm not looking." But I know Nick Taylor. And that same, I'm going to get myself in a frenzy. That same Fox Theater is where Anita Baker embarrassed me because I walked in late to her show. And that's why if I see Anita Baker today, I will tackle her. She's a very mean person. How are you going to, because I come in the show late, how are you going to stop singing and be rude to me? Make that make sense in Fox Theater. Make that make sense. But on the other hand, I kind of had to, I was sitting in the middle of the place. It was a long walk to the middle. So it's kind of disruptive, but still. So Anita Baker's about 64. The best she needs to do is stay away from me because she's embarrassed me. That wasn't the only time, but that's the only time I'm going to mention. You embarrassed me. I had to hide under the chair the rest of the concert. I was on the floor like shaking and shit. I was cleaning the motherfucking gators. I'm in Detroit. Gatored up and shit. Just, super duper fly up in that motherfucker. And I'm high in a bitch, smoking a joint before the concert, and then went up in there. And she probably smelled the weed on me is when I walked up in there. And Anita, you didn't look good on the Super Bowl, baby. You did not look good on the Super Bowl. You didn't do a good job. But Nick Taylor, I know Nick Taylor been in Fox Theater. It's right downtown Detroit. But I'll say this. One of my favorite songs in the world, which I've heard Anita Baker sing a million times, was Angel. Only you can make it good. Only you can make it right. Only you can make it good. Only you can make it right because you are my angel. That's one of the best songs of all time. I put that as one of the top R&B songs of our time. Top 10. Anita Baker singing Angel. Top 10 R&B love song of all time. If not number one. Guilty or Selfish by Genuine. You got to put that in there too. Selfish by Genuine. Got to be love songs. Always and Forever. 10 minutes of love talk. Do you know what it was like being in the basement? All right, let me use a little of my magic. Here we go, y'all. It's 1977. It's cold outside. We see all these cars parked in the street. We got Stacey Adams on, tight little leather coats. We walk into this house. The door's open to go in the basement. We go in the basement. You look for that familiar, cute face, and you see her. Because you talked about you being there. And they put on Always and Forever, which I think is 15 minutes. Each moment with you is something I can't. And you get to hold that young woman for 15 minutes in this basement. The lights is off. The only lights is from the music. And she is following you. That's what slow dancing is. She is following you. You take the lead. A man takes the lead. She is following you. Do you know what that's like? 15 minutes. And you think you ain't squeezing that night? Damn, Anita. Oh man. She got me twice. She got me twice. One time, the first time she got me, she was with another group. Sean Gatling's daddy. You can look Sean up. Sean's on YouTube. Sean's Gatlin daddy was her manager of that other group, the first group she was in. Maybe Nick Taylor remembers that first group. And she came in, and I was smoking weed out in front of the place. Before she came in, she said, "You better have your ass sitting down before I get started." I'm like, okay, I'll be out there plenty of time. This is I was smoking joints. Yeah, I smoked about 4 more joints before I went in. And this was a much smaller club. And this club was kind of interesting because when I went in, I was trying to figure out how to sneak in without, interrupting her show. Because there was a couple different ways to go in. Like Fox Theater, it ain't too many different ways when you go into the main theater. But this place was a little different. So I was like, damn, I looked in there and I was like, because I, again, sitting in the middle, and I had to kind of make a lot of people stand up. And she bust me out. She's like, she stopped singing, made the band stop, and was like, "Me and you just talked. I asked you to be in here before I started." I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And then I went and hid under the chair and cried. Oh, no, I threw a tomato at her ass. Like, "Don't talk shit to me. Here's this tomato. I'm in the garden row, honey." Boom, I hit her right with a tomato. Pow! This is the garden row. You do not talk shit to the garden row. So that's, Katie joined the Suns on the 130th day of age. Trade happens at 113th after the start of season, 113 days before the start of the NBA Finals. Suns 0-3 in finals could become 1-3. That is some good work. That is some good work. Wow. Very well could be. Katie is ranked 13th on the scoring list. He earned his 13th All-Star selection. Wow. And they let them through last year. Man, and I'll tell you, that Wiggins stuff gets weirder and weirder by the day. I don't know what to say about that stuff. So I don't know what to say about Wiggins. That Wiggins stuff is just the weirdest of the weird. All these accusations that Russell Westbrook is his kid's daddy. That would be mind-blowing. You just signed for $144 million? You making 20 plus million? And I said the other night, that's just worse than what they did to Dennis Rodman when Dennis Rodman learned that Vinnie Johnson was fucking his wife. To say that those children are somebody else's and a famous somebody else, that would be hard to come back from. But on the other hand, it would help with the divorce. It would help that you could probably get custody of those children. So it's the weirdest of the weird. PJ Allen, 13 is Mason's number. Wiggins' shit is beyond shamey. Yeah, it is. It's beyond shamey. So there's something else there. It's something else there. So you see Golden State ain't going to be there. So this is a year of rest for them. Year of rest. As I said, you really got to look at Curry as suffering. I mean, the injuries he's had is definitely from the bad shoes. Now, Kawhi Leonard, again, he hasn't had any problems with the New Balance so far. But Alonzo Ball, those shoes he wore early in his career. Embiid has had problems with his legs. He wears Pumas. The Ball boy wears Pumas. He was out for the rest of the season. So some of these shoes makes you wonder. Vinnie Johnson microwave. Yeah. Oh, y'all don't know that story? Yeah, that's why Rodman really was in. So what Rodman did in the the Palace. So Rodman, they come back from a road trip and motherfuckers finally tell him that Vinny been fucking his wife. So Rodman, this is around the same time Chuck Daly quits. Chuck Daly was like a father figure. So imagine Rodman was green as green. He was a hick, a simp. He was the ultimate simp when he came into Detroit. And he has a daughter by that woman. And I've said before, and I'm going to go back to his story, but I don't know if y'all remember this part. The reason why tattoos are so prevalent in the NBA is Dennis Rodman, hands down. No one can argue that. Because what happened is When Dennis Rodman, after that, he divorced that wife. He was still playing. And I think he might have been freshly with San Antonio. He had a picture of his daughter on his arm. In custody court, he was ordered to take it off. I don't know if y'all remember that. In custody court, when they went to, it's called children court, he was ordered to take it off or cover it up. And so he put the second tattoo over his daughter's, because the original tattoo on one of his arms was his daughter. And then he had to change it. So he put bigger, and but Rodman, it ain't Iverson with tattoos, it's Rodman. And matter of fact, a lot of you young people's generation, tattoos comes from Rodman. If all y'all, anybody's born 10 years behind me or 20 years behind me or 30 years behind me, if you were born 30 years behind me and you got tattoos and you thought they was popular because all your people had tattoos, that shit come from Dennis Rodman. And that is a cultural fact. Tattoos, you know who had tattoos before Dennis Rodman? World War II people. Korean War people. That's who you saw have tattoos, military people. It wasn't until Dennis Rodman you saw everybody wear tattoos. And I mean everybody. So if you are within 30 years of me, my son is 33, about to be 34. The cultural run on tattoos comes from Dennis Rodman. And I don't think this can be debated. It ain't Iverson, because Iverson was Dennis Rodman. It come from Dennis Rodman. So, KD also back with Phoenix, was on 35 losses. Pops Gasol got a new wife now. He got a new wife. That's funny. Wow. If the Suns, they would give the Western Conference their 35th win. KD also wears 35. Good work, Lorenzo, as always. If the Suns win the finals, they would give the Western Conference a 35th win. KD 35. But the problem that they face is they've never won it. And pro basketball, let's look at the new teams that have won it in the last, again, we can go 30 years. Heat, Houston, Mavericks. Who else new has won it between the Heat, Houston, and the Mavericks? Who else has won a title that's new, that has never won a title before? The Heat, Houston, and Mavericks. That's the only new teams. I mean, correct me. Iverson's influence was cornrows. Yeah. But there was other players who was braiding their hair too. But I'll say, yeah, generational wise, culture wise. Because cornrows really came in. I don't know, man. That's always been around. We was talking earlier. I'll go start talking about something else. That's always been a part of our culture. If you go back to Farina, which was our gang, Farina had his hair braided. And it's bogus. They used to show Farina in a potato sack, burlap. I don't know if y'all even know what burlap is. Potatoes used to come in burlap bags. And poor people would get these potatoes, and when they'd eat them all, they'd keep the bags and make clothes. So Farina, living in California, they gave him, one of his costumes was one of these burlap bags, but he had his hair braided. The Farina is one of the original Little Rascals. Buckwheat came later. Now, if you ever see Farina, if you look up Farina and then you look up Buckwheat, Buckwheat's a little boy. You'll see Farina has a little brother. Technically, that, and Stymie's way later. But Buckwheat had just the, so cornrows came back in. Again, afros came in 67, 68. And from afros, people started braiding their hair. Because what happened is when you would braid your hair and then you let it out, your hair would be kind of fringy and your afro would kind of sit up. So really by the 70s, now I'll say this. I will say this for you, Lobo. I'll say this. When I went to the college in the 80s, yeah, that shit was, they'd laugh at niggas that had their hair braided. Afros was gone. When I was in 10th grade and went to Pittsburgh, I cut my afro off. And by then I had what was called a shag afro, a longer afro on the top and you kind of kept it boxed in the back. That's kind of how the afro evolved. But when I went to Pittsburgh, it wasn't no niggas with afros. So when I went to A&T, I only let my hair grow out because I knew they'd cut it. I was just lazy and didn't want to pay. But yeah, you didn't have hair braided in the 80s and 90s. That didn't come back until, yeah, I would say, yeah, you got a good point there. So yeah, you niggas wasn't when because in the 80s and 90s, dudes was cutting their hair close. But it's interesting. Let me say this: it's interesting because the haircut that all the young dudes have, where it's long and somewhere slightly faded inside, you know where that hairstyle comes from? That used to be called the Philly. The long hair with a little bit of faded in here, that was Philadelphia dudes. That was called the Philly. And that hairstyle is from like 80. The hairstyle has been around that long. But again, afros went away. You know, the niggas that wore Jerry curls. When I was in Greensboro, dudes still was wearing Jerry curls and bags. A dude I used to work with every day, I used to get on him too. I was like, don't wear that Jerry. When he would wear Jerry curl, I'd go in there high and just laugh my ass off. I would laugh my ass off on him. I'm like, nigga, if you go wear this Jerry curl bag all day, I'm going to get on you all day. And I'd have that nigga laughing because he was a good spirited dude. We was like the same age and shit. Little Larry. That nigga would come wearing his Jerry curl bag. He's like, okay, I know you're going to give it to me all day, but my shit is activating. I saw a nigga at the game. This nigga was wearing a wave cap. He was wearing a wave cap. I can't even say his shoes was Uggs. They was like a Ugg imitation. And Saturday was like 35 degrees outside. And I'm looking at this nigga like, God damn, you came in public like this. He had a wave cap on. And he had some imitation Uggs. Takes all kind. Jerry curl ass niggas. Oh my goodness. 21st century Miami Heat, Mavs, Cavs out in the Raptors. Thank you, Lorenzo. Yep. Heat, Mavs, Cavs, and the Raptors. There we go. So only those 4 teams are new teams. Now, will they let a new team in this year? Could be. But the circumstances, Toronto won. I've said this before. Toronto won the championship because Toronto was one of the original teams. The very first NBA game was the Knicks in Toronto. Not BAA and NBL, not that. But when they both merged in, what was that, 47 or 49, the very first game was played in Toronto between the Knicks. And it might have been Madison Square Garden, but I want to say Toronto. So that's why Toronto won, because it was one of the original teams. What happened to Lamar was rocking those ugly red boots. Oh my goodness, those red boots. I saw a dude. Did you guys catch the guy who 3D printed the red boots? He 3D printed them in white, and it took him 2 days to 3D print them boots. It took him like a half a day to print each boot. You can like whatever you want to like. But when everybody else is doing it, you should want to do the opposite. If everybody else is doing something, you should want to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. And wearing them goofy ass red boots. I mean, if it's wintertime and they warm, okay. And it's slushy, okay. But to say this is some type of I made it, or I'm flexing, whatever you want to call it, it's just the stupidest of the stupid. You gonna see niggas in the big red boots? Yeah. I'll answer that. Yeah, they ugly as fuck. Well, right now Andrew Wiggins hasn't played since February, and the rumor mill is saying that his wife or girl or baby mama was having an affair with Westbrook, and that both children are Westbrooks. That is the rumor. That is the Instagram stuff. How true that is, I can't tell you. But that is the rumors out there about Andrew Wiggins. So, Suns will win it this year if they face the Bucks. Giannis and Holiday. Oh, Holiday had 50 tonight. He had 50. What is the deal with them things? Yeah, Lorenzo, them boots is just like monkey see, monkey do. You see how they did them. Do you see how the propaganda was? We'll show entertainers with them. We'll show entertainers with them first, and then we'll start showing, your regular people going to start having them. Okay, good. So that's what it is. It's monkey see, monkey do. Because you know what everybody ain't getting? Because they ain't really affordable. And I should show my boots. Red Wing boots is better than Timberlands. They're a lot more expensive, but they're better. Just the way they're made. Timberlands, the soles are glued on. They're not made the way the boot is made. Red Wing boots are made where the boot and the leather is all together one piece. Or it's not it's made more solid. It's not as tacked on as the Timberlands. And Red Wing Boots, you can look this up, has just made Mario boots, Mario shoes. They didn't make them out of rubber. They made leather shoes of Mario's. You can look this up. Look this up, the Mario shoes. Maybe I can look them up. Let's see. See if I can find them. But they're made out of leather. And they have to cost about $2,000 to make them. See if I can find them. I found them. Here we go. Okay, what is this? Get tickets, Timberwolves versus Portland. I do not want to see them. I do not want to see the Timberwolves versus Portland. There's one team. If there is one team I've watched in the NBA the most, is Utah and Portland, and they both suck. Oh, okay. You can tell I'm a no typing mug. Let me see. See if I can get this in here. Here we go. Now, those are Super Mario boots. Now, what do y'all think? What do y'all think of the Super Mario boots? Yay or nay on the Super Mario boots? Yay or nay on the Super Mario boots? I don't want all that. Don't want all that. Mario boots. I still feel weird watching Sacramento Kings game. Yeah, Sacramento, but they play good ball. Fox plays good. They play good ball. They play really good ball. Suns Valley, all I know is to be the 34th time the Westerners won the NBA title. Lakers won half of them with 17. It's funny seeing that. Well, I mean, it's good that Brown. I mean, it's real good that Brown is able to coach. I like him as a coach. I've always liked him as a coach. That's taking over and it shouldn't. So, I've always liked Brown as a coach. So it's cool that they're playing it. But will they let him win it? Now, maybe Lorenzo knows this, and I don't really know this. Now, I know I might be wrong about this, but I thought they started as the Rochester Royals. I thought they started as the Rochester Royals, and then they end up being Then they end up being the Cincinnati Royals. And then when they moved to Omaha, like Nate Archibald, they was called the Kansas City Kings. And then they moved to Sacramento. And that Nate Archibald Kings is pretty nice. Pretty clean jerseys. I couldn't them. Lorenzo said you couldn't wear them. Yeah, man, them boots would be so expensive. And they leather. They ain't that rubber bullshit. They straight up leather. And I'll say this. I'll give this. I've been telling all these recruits, Red Wing is in Red Wing, Minnesota. They're exclusive boots. Most boots cost, the good boots cost about $300. I mean, you can get them on eBay cheaper, but you can get used boots for $250, $300. I mean, these are some of the best work boots in the world, and people sleep on them. And I'm telling all these players, you are playing in Minnesota, and then you go to college. NIFs. Go down there. Start wearing their stuff. I told this one dude, he's going to Baylor. He's a sophomore, already signed with Baylor. And everybody knows Baylor, big cash. And I told his daddy, go down to Red Wing. I said, matter of fact, pay $300 each and wear your boots down there. And tell them you going to Baylor. Show them everything. Start advertising them shoes. I don't know if anybody took they started in Rochester. Yeah, there's Rochester. Now, did they win it though? Did Rochester win it? Now, I don't think they're going to let them just, go and win this year. They'll let them go and win a year or two. And remember with Chris Webber, when that Chris Webber team out there, when they cheated. Watch that game. Was it game 6? That was one of the most cheating games in the world. When they cheated them out of the finals to push Shaq and Kobe. I know a lot of people, think Kobe is so good. They wasn't good in that series against Chris Webber and Mike Bibby and them. I want to say Rasheed Wallace was still there. Shaq wasn't the most dominant player in that series. And this wasn't an old Shaq. This was peak Shaq. And if it wasn't for the refs damn near did for Kobe when Dwayne Wade played the Mavs and was shooting averaging 20 free throws in the series. Yeah, I know that's what they did to Dwayne Wade. He had them good games. I think the whole series he averaged like 10 free throws a game. But the deciding game, he had 22, something like 22. He went to the line 20 sometimes. That was the Karl Malone's career. Mr. Shoot free throws. 20 as of the Lakers 76 series played, the Eastern Conference champions have won 40 titles while the Westerns have won. Okay. So we got to take that into consideration as well. So the things to take in consideration is super obvious. The things to take in consideration is, okay, is it a new team? Or is it an old team that's relocated? Sacrifice. That plays a big part in the way they do this. They always want blood. They always want blood for sacrifice. And then we look at tradition. If we see it starts lining up when we see the finals, the conference finals, the traditional teams, and we have we have 3 traditional teams and 1 new team. The odds of that new team moving forward is very less. But if we end up with 4 kind of non-traditional teams, but I don't see how Boston's not going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I really don't see that. So a lot of the agenda could be for Boston. Kings ain't doing nothing, that's for sure. They just good because if the regular season, if they run in the Nuggets, Grizzlies, or Suns, they ain't winning that. KD's first finals loss was the 66th NBA senior. This year would be the 77th NBA final. Yeah, that's when he lost to LeBron. And you knew that game was fixed when he lost to LeBron, when Mike Miller comes out to the game and Mike Miller's hot. And Mike Miller was he was done by then. But Mike Miller's a good guy. I'll say this. Mike Miller is a very good guy. He did a lot of like LeBron did. He put a lot of his boys in business. So Mike Miller's a good guy. I can't remember the exact story because my daughter's mother knows somebody that did business with him or does business with him. And I have nothing but positive things to say about Mike Miller. Except in that game, they turned it on for him. They definitely turned it on for him. Kings a young team, no doubt. Portland and Sacramento and the Suns should have had a championship. Yeah. Sacramento, yeah, they're on the rise. Kings need another big man. I don't know. Sabonis be giving people problems, though. He be giving people problems. He's a hard matchup. KD going Suns was shot at Charles Barkley. If KD wins, Barkley, we consider the greater son. The beef is real. And as I said before, Barkley wasn't chosen the best son of all times. Connie Hawkins was considered the best. They had a poll of the best Phoenix athlete of all time, and Connie Hawkins was the one. There's a big mirror on the side of a building while he was still alive. He was voted. And this is the last, Connie Hawkins died like 15, 16, 17, somewhere in there. This was during his lifetime. So during his lifetime, when Charles Barkley had played, this was way after. This Connie Hawkins is about 20 years older. Charles Barkley's only a couple years younger than me, 3-4 years younger than me. So when the people in Phoenix that voted, they voted Connie Hawkins over Charles Barkley. KD wearing number 7 like Jordan wearing 445, being punished during the time. That's a good point. That's a good point, because it was a shaming up in they got the hell out of Brooklyn. You know, where that Russian on them. They got away from him. So we'll see how it lines up. They're trying to make it interesting. As I said before, they really should have done what Adam Silver suggested. And I think that if they would have had instead of the All-Star game, have a mid-season tournament, I really think it'd have been successful. If it was one and done, do a mid-season tournament, one and done, everybody's involved. And do that instead of having an All-Star game. I think it would be wildly acceptable. And then you can do the rest of the regular season how you want to do it. But you play because what they do is they play what 60% of the season before the All-Star game, maybe 70%, because normally after the All-Star game, it's only like 30, 40 games left, maybe 30. But I'd say scale that back and put it almost halfway, and then play a live tournament, mid-season tournament. I think that would be successful. It is coming. I see. Okay. Oh well. Baseball starts today. Yes, and I imagine they could play here, but it's still snow here and it's still cold as hell. I mean, it's damn. What is it right now? It is 14 degrees above zero. We have a winter storm watch from 7 a.m. to Saturday, April 1st. I think a lot of it's going to go north, but we're definitely going to get 80% of snow today. We're going to get 80% of rain tomorrow, Friday. So, and then Sunday, it's supposed to be 50. Now they're saying 48. Now they're saying Wednesday 50, but it's supposed to rain. I mean, I got pictures years ago. It's 80 degrees this time of year. 80 degrees this time of year. We wearing shorts and shit. That coat I showed you, that's a winter coat. I couldn't have wore anything less. I almost had to pick out the big white parka. It was so damn cold outside. It was chilly. Lobo facts. Let me see what Lobo say. Being Nets fan sounds like a torture. Like being a Pistons fan, or being a Lions fan is the worst, and they'll never win it. Joe Tushy chose politics over resigning Kyrie. I would rather Kyrie stay on the Nets to retire and never win instead of giving up that fast. Wow. Then it would have been respected. Luka definitely don't want Kyrie on his team. Nobody does. LeBron didn't want him. Everywhere he's played, nobody wanted him. They hate him in Boston. You know why he went to Boston? He went to Boston because he needed knee surgery. See, he was damaged goods. You know what made him a top pick, the number 1 pick, I think? Remember, he got hurt the first month at Duke and did not play until the last tournament. He played in 2 tournament games. They won 1 and lost 1. That's what made him the top pick. He didn't play that season. He played in the tournament. Had a good game and then they didn't win it all. And they made him the number 1 pick. So he was hurt in college. He was damaged goods going into the NBA. And that year, he said that he would get his surgery like what Scottie Pippen did. And, Michael Jordan throwing all that dirt on a business move. Scottie Pippen not having surgery during the season was a business move. Because you can always renegotiate a contract. So that was a business move, which I applaud Scottie. And Michael showed his hating. Them some jacked up. Oh yeah, the weather here is, but the air is fresh. I love it here. It's holy ground, and I love living on this holy ground. I really do. Yeah. Kyrie, Kyrie fake woke. Kyrie got the letters. I was drafted in the 2011, number 11. Oh, he's drafted 11th. Okay. He was drafted 11th. That's like Garnett drafted 5th, and so he wore 5. Well, when he went to Boston, he wore 21 here. And them is 2 jerseys they stole from me. I had the white Garnett because when they traded him, Goodwill had their jerseys, or not Goodwill, but thrift shops, and they had Garnett jerseys, white, the old, the before he left, like probably I forget what season, but the older style, they had it in white and they had it the blue one, and I had them both, $5, and they stole them too. Because they just brought my shit over because I was cussing them out and stuff. And we broke up. It wasn't an amicable breakup. And little personal is funny. It's funny. This is what's funny, how people perceive, especially European people. See, European people don't think that they can be jealous of each other. They really don't. They don't think that their friends can be jealous of them. They think they're just Europeans and everybody loves Europeans and we're just happy all being Europeans. Europeans are some of the greatest haters. And I tried to tell her this. Didn't listen to me. Now she lives next door to her friend that she's been friends with for 20 years. They went to college together. And they hate each other. They hate each other. Which I tried to tell her back in 15. I said, they are jealous of this house we bought. They are jealous of you and I. And this is what it is. She didn't want to believe me then, but now she believes me because they turned on her. And that just shows you. She didn't see it coming. My daughter been telling her she don't like the lady. I told her, let her come over to me. Oh, and this is just funny. She's like, oh, you guys just sit in the house all day. Okay, what's better? My daughter being around a woman that she doesn't like, that puts her down, or sitting with me. And she chose that summer to put my daughter with her, which she now regrets. And then my mother stung her. My mother stung her because they have a dog, and they took her to see my mother, took my daughter, And she was like, I'm a changed man. That's what she's telling my mom. He does stuff and goes out. And my mom hit her with the same thing. My mom hit her with, because you didn't believe your man. Well, what is Tammy Wynette? Stand by your man. So, but it's good it didn't work out because I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all in such glory. I heard Michael took care of Pippen like family until he got remarried. He might have. Here's a true story. Buzz Peterson. Do y'all know who Buzz Peterson is? Tell you who Buzz Peterson is. When Michael Jordan got recruited to go to Carolina, he wasn't the player of the year. Do y'all know that? So that must have been, Michael Jordan is 2 years younger than me. So the class of 81, Buzz Peterson was the North Carolina player of the year. He was the top recruit of Carolina. It wasn't Michael Jordan. It was Buzz Peterson. But Buzz Peterson, I don't know if they have the same size shoe, but one time in Michael Jordan's life, Buzz loaned Michael a pair of shoes. And Michael never forgot it. And Buzz Peterson has now got a lifetime of Nike stuff sent to him. He coaches somewhere. Maybe he's retired by now because Buzz is our age. Buzz got to be 59, 60 if he still coaches. I don't know if some of y'all want to do the work to see if Buzz Peterson still, but Buzz Peterson can shoot. I've met him a couple of times. That joker can shoot. But he didn't really have much of a pro career. But he was a higher recruit than Michael Jordan, for those, love that history. Buzz Peterson was on that championship team with James Worthy. That was James Worthy team. I know Michael Jordan gets the credit for hitting that shot, but that was James Worthy. That was James Worthy year. James Worthy put it on America. Not Michael Jordan. He hit the shot, but he had James Worthy. Some of the biggest haters for each other is the ones they have crab in the bucket mentality. them source. They're the biggest haters. They have the crab in the bucket mentality. I keep thinking, Donnie Parker sing that song. Oh, okay, baby. Buzz Peterson used to coach at Tennessee. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Buzz coach, Buzz was from Dean Smith. So I know Dean got him in a lot of jobs because what Dean said is when he talked to Buzz and he said, okay, go to these camps because Buzz had some tryouts. And once he got cut, he was like, look, sit on my staff for a few years, get your master's, and start coaching. And that's what he did. Instead of, keep trying to chase a dream where he wasn't that. Buzz was probably, if I say 6'2", that's probably tall. He wasn't that tall. Did you hear Poppin made her have sex for a duration of their marriage? Well, that sounds like a good marriage to me. What was the problem? You wake up, hit it. You hit it for siesta at lunch. You hit it early evening. And when you go to bed, you hit it. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? So I don't see the problem there, PJ. That sounds like a good marriage to me. Yep. I am Polish. Polish people, some of the biggest haters, and judge everyone how successful they are. Ah, there he is. What is happening? That's a bad man. Siova, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Oh, and let me tell y'all. Oh, this project I was working on, this place came back for sale. And right now it is way overpriced and still might be able to get the project. So I'm seeing if the people that was interested still interested, and we might still be able to pull it off because they're putting the place back on the market, which is great. And the market's about to take a big hit. So what they're asking for now, I know we're going to get a lot less if we can work it out. And then the fun and games will begin, but we'll see. I hate to talk about stuff because you get to talking about shit and then the shit is, Lobo, you in Tennessee? You hear anything about the shooting? Ooh. Yeah. Well, I don't want to say a lot about it. They want to strike people for that kind of thing, but like Red Wolf put a video out that showed a dude talking about all the melanated people that are taking off of products. Aunt Jemima, the Pancake Box, Uncle Ben. But yet Europeans are still on products. Isn't that funny? The butter company that had the pretty young, American Indian on the butter company. All the melanated people are taking off of these products, but none of the Europeans are taking off the products. So it's like, and this comes from, liberals, liberal thinking. Now, I don't care who you voted for, but I'm just saying, if you look at their agenda, they're the ones that pushed to get this stuff off. The same people that wanted to get rid of the Redskins because they didn't like it. They didn't like the East showing what real Eastern people look like. They can't touch the Blackhawks, but they put pressure to get rid of the Redskins. They get pressure to Cleveland Indians. And there's a strong presence of Indians in the Midwest. So, PSYOP after PSYOP. Yes, it is. So it is a PSYOP. Again, it's to try to take the guns. That was going to be their agenda. They would definitely like to have where they could round up and take all the guns from people. Same agenda as usual, absolutely. And the agenda is removing your weapons, making you vulnerable. And every society was overthrown. The people were enslaved. Every society that gave up their guns, because that's what they did to the Jewish faith people. The first thing they did, one of the first things they did to the Jewish faith people was disarm them. Now, that's not talked about a lot, but that was done. They disarmed them. And Mao, Cambodia, that's the first thing they want to do. Make sure you can't fight back. There's no other reason to say that hunting rifles, which AR is basically just a rifle, can't be owned by general people. And that is the thing that makes our country strong. That's the one thing that makes our country strong, because if they come on these streets, just like it showed in, what was it? We're the Wolverines. What is it? Where the first movie, you had the Cubans flying, but the next version of that movie, they had the Chinese coming in. And the movies is going to show what happened. Before the military come, you got people in the city that's going to shoot the shit out of you unless you get them tanks which I've said before, they're going to come from the West because the Chinese own, what is it called? California port. I'm old man and y'all, but the California port that goes to all our rail system is owned by the Chinese, and it'll come to me. It's right there, and that's where they would come from. But before then, if they just tried to, like in the movie, they just tried to drop troops in, we would shoot them back. And what did the Purge show? That the government that fought the people would attack Texas first because they're the most armed and one of the biggest, most armed states. Why do you think they disarmed the biggest state? Why do you think they disarmed New York? Why do you think that is? They pretty much disarmed New York. They want to disarm Chicago. But what they've done is the opposite. They made melanated people kill each other up there. So we do their job for them. So this is who people say they'll vote for over and over again. And that's the reality. Taking guns has nothing to do with safety. It has everything to do with taking the population and enslaving them, because that's what's going to happen. Now, I know some people say, well, Britain don't got guns. Their military does and their police do. They got SWAT in Britain. Don't look at these little bullshit stories where they just seeing people hit them sticks. See some real shit over there. Matter of fact, they have a false flag over there. Zach did a thing. They had a false flag over there. And they showed their police military is like our police military. Police don't even carry shotguns anymore. They carry machine guns. They carry ARs. They've got their handgun. They got ARs in the car. That's Obama. That came through Obama's push to militarize these police forces. Trump kind of took some of those back. He stepped some of that funding back. Pulled back some of that equipment that was given to police departments under Obama. 33 there, 33 everywhere. Yeah, it is. Australian gave up the guns, and we see how they, yeah, Lobo. I watched the Ozzy Kuzik, who he's in favor of Ukraine. I watch him, and the hell he talks about the lies, how the Russian people ain't that bad. So it's interesting. Yep. The same day as PSYOP, Grizzlies picked up their 33th home win. Yeah. We're the last country standing. Wow, OTF should put more on it. So this is, one of the realities of what we're facing and the why. I say what we're facing and the why. Because they want to make that high blood pressure. They want to have you high blood pressure, have you worrying about being fear everywhere. That's what we faced these last few years by our government, fear. So we have to bounce back from that. We have to bounce back from all that. And not live our lives in fear. Live our lives in wholeness. Live our lives. And this is the catch. And this is the vulnerability of parents. And this and I don't think any parent can say this. Now I know some people on here that's my age, their children are grown. And you know what you wish for your grown children? And a lot of you are younger. You know what your parents and what I wish for you? That you had a normal life that I've lived like the last 30 years. That's what we wish for our children. That is our long-term wish, that the way things are don't change too much and our children can raise their children, raise their children, raise their children. That is the wish. If any of your parents out there, you want things to stay pretty much the same way you were. And you want to see your children become adults and get jobs and be functional humans. I ain't say success, just functional, being able to survive. That's what we all need to be. But on the other hand, if we continue the way this is, it's going to be more tyranny, more oppression, more rights taken away. And so many people say this is the greatest country on earth. Yeah, in a lot of ways it is, but in a lot of ways it's not. And I'm not one of these ones that say about white supremacy. That is a spell. White supremacy is a spell. And the ones that are out there saying that's the thing that's, what is the old man name? They made all the cartoons, Fuller, not Nelly Fuller. He is under that spell because he put something over him and calls it white supremacy. There's no such thing. There's the white tribe. That is the danger. That is the evil, not evil, but wicked. The white tribe, the cannibals. That's something separate that we have. That's the power. That's the power in this world, the white tribe. The white tribe. And they call it all these other names, Illuminati. What do they call it? The high table. They don't want to tell you about these motherfuckers that eats people. And that's the wicked here on this continent. And that's who is the high table, is what's called the white tribe. So it's not white supremacy. That is the spell of repression. And I'm not a big fan of Thomas Sowell. I'm not a big fan of him. Some things I like that he says, but most of all, he's kissing their ass. Especially what he said about the Jewish faith people. He's an ass kisser. You watch him in Senate. Now, some things he says, see, that's the thing, is like some things is fake and some things is real. He's that kind of dude. He's that kind of dude that he's an obvious ass kisser. He's an obvious ass kisser for them peoples, but yet he says some sensible things. He does say some very sensible things. But you can tell he's been paid off by them peoples. So when you listen to him, you got to keep that in mind. This is a traitor. This is a person that's a traitor of his people because he's going to mislead you. And if you don't think he's misleading, look what he says about them peoples. How they're jealous because they started when they were poor. No, tell the whole story about the wandering Jew. Tell the whole story. Don't tell just a part of the story. Well, they came to America. He didn't say nothing about them being in the mafia. Or they can't be in the mafia, but Costa Nostra. He ain't say nothing about that they got rich off doing that. He ain't say nothing about the unfair bank practices that got them famous and rich. He doesn't speak of any of that. He just says, well, they get money and they're successful. They came to America with nothing. They did not come into America with nothing. They came to America when Columbus came to America. They're the first Europeans to come on this land, was them peoples. A melanated them peoples. You can find his name. I got books back there with his name in there. Read the book, The Other Slavery. All them names is in there, who these people were. Isabella, I talk about all the time. So when you got a black folk, you got a melanated brother that says these kind of things, you can't trust him because he works for them. And that's how this goes. They say so many sensible things that you're like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. But if you study them enough, you study these people enough, you're like, hey, he's for them. He's for them. Now, I'm the first one to admit, I watch Fox Business all day. When I get up, I don't watch TV, and I try to watch it before the closing bell every day. Charles Payne. I watch Charles Payne. Because Charles Payne, what he does is he tells you the numbers. That's what he gives you. He tells you the numbers. He don't give you all this bullshit the soul give you. He tells you the business and the numbers. That's all I ask. I don't want to hear propaganda. And that's what Thomas Sowell is. He's a propagandist. He worked for them. And so he spews up. What's the other's name? I got somebody sending me his book. What was the other name? The other dude that says, get these businesses. There's another dude working for them. I mean, that's our problem. All these people. Here's the thing. And this is from Quantum of Science. And I'm going to throw this out to you. Did y'all notice when they did that bridge crossing? Sly showed this on his show. They did that bridge crossing. Now, when they showed last year, because Jesse Jackson been suffering from Alzheimer's. So last year he could walk. Did you notice that they showed Jesse Jackson going that bridge crossing in a wheelchair? Remember they showed Jesse Jackson getting his shots? Remember that? Why is it so important? But what Quantum of Science says, and I have to agree, is when these minor demons make these contracts, they got to be used until they fall. because there was no reason. Okay, Jesse Jackson was at George Floyd's decision. Downtown here, Minneapolis, with Sharpton and what's his name? Crump. They brought Jesse Jackson in. They had to lead him around. He'd been suffering from Alzheimer's, dementia. Why? Because they can't. They have to be used. Because you know what they look at? This is what they look at. They say, if Jesse ain't there, there's somebody that is of the certain age that Jesse need to be there. And if we don't show Jesse there, some people won't give us support. I mean, this is the long-range planning that they do. And one day we're going to see Sharpton in a wheelchair, and we're going to see Crump in a wheelchair, and they still got to be there because they can't quit. Jesse can't even quit. Isn't that some shit? This man is not mentally there, and he can't quit. He cannot quit. Jesse Jackson got to be 80 years old. 78, 79, 80, he got to be. I think he older than my dad. My mother's 82. I think Jesse got to be 80 or late 70s. But he can't quit. And that Selma, Alabama, going across the bridge told you. When all this shit, if it was a black thing, we still need him here. I don't care how sick he is, how feeble he is. They gave a feeble man a shot and put it on film. He's feeble. And yet they used him for giving the shot. They even used OJ. Y'all remember that? OJ said, you need to go get it. So these people can't quit. What have I missed? Just like last year, after the psyop in Texas, the Mavs got their only playoff win against the Warriors. Yeah, OTF. I think we talked about. Yeah, Nelly Fuller. That's him. He's under the spell of white supremacy. If you think it's there, then you got to understand what the real. And it's like I talk about the right tribe, but now with it, like I show this book every night because this is the enemy too. You know, this is what we're under. We're under this surveillance capitalism. And our choices are worth millions. Our choices, our browsing are worth millions. And this is the attack. But it ain't got nothing to do with white supremacy. This is straight business. And the government allowing them to be intrusive on what you look for daily, on your phone, on your computer. You know how intrusive they are? Didn't Obama peel back one of them laws? Or no, I think Obama kept it. Maybe Trump peeled back that law. They gave us protection from them being intrusive into our information and our likes and what we shop. We give out. We don't understand that this is surplus. We give them a surplus of information freely. When every time they ask us if we want cookies, there's a price for that. We should get paid for them putting cookies into what we look at. They should pay us. Not we just say okay, because they're going to make millions of dollars off cookies they put in our systems. When they ask you, we've changed policies and you agreeing. There's a lot of money in this that's just unbelievable. You wouldn't believe the amount of money they've gotten just from you sitting there scrolling on your phone. How important that is to them. How this is a new kind of currency. And Alphabet is the leading. YouTube does it too, but Alphabet almost invented this surveillance capitalism. They almost invented it. And that's what we live under. I don't even want to get into the corporation. That's old. So how long? And plus I got to pee. So my other show was about 50 minutes. This is an hour and a half. Tomorrow afternoon might come on again. But thank you everyone for the outstanding. Elijah Muhammad is still going and he's in his 80s. Now you talking about Farrakhan. Elijah Muhammad died in 79 or 80. You talking about Farrakhan. You heard Bose SoundLink Flex. I'll have to look that one up. You heard Bose SoundLink Flex. I have not, Devontae. Not sure. Yeah, you mean Farrakhan. Yeah, Farrakhan is the same way. They just had, I told you, my cousin is the mayor of Benton Harbor, Michigan, and he's a Muslim. He's a Farrakhan guy. He went to DePaul. He hooped at DePaul. I still think I'm the best basketball player to come out of my family, but he played college basketball. I played college football. I still think I was a better player than him because I was giving him that work when he was in high school playing against him and his brother. Yeah, I was still giving him that work, but they were quite a bit younger than me. Quite a bit. Yeah, that's all you mean. You mean Farrakhan, but that's the same thing. He was on Savior's Day. I mean, Sly did an excellent thing on Farrakhan, where everybody wear a mask around him, but the oldest man that's giving the speech ain't wearing no mask. So that, Sly did a show like that a few years ago, talked about that. But yeah, they can't quit. They can't quit. Like, watch, what are they talking about? What came on Netflix when they showed Riggins? Remember Riggins took Clayton Powell in New York, took over his seat in the Senate, and he was the one that passed the crime bill. Now he's looked at it, they bring this old motherfucker interview. This old dude gotta be in his like late to mid 80s. He's hella old. And now looking back at it, a lot of melanated people did get, didn't matter then though, did it? You helped them with their agenda. But when they need you to come back and talk about Black affairs, we got this man we can bring on, Black affairs. So a lot of it's a joke, y'all. As I said before, know what's distractions. Know what your purpose in life is. That's the number one thing. Why are you here? And if you're 25 and don't know, I can understand. But if you 30 and ain't figured that out, now you ain't got to be spiritual or none of that. But what is your purpose? Are you living your purpose? If your purpose is to be a father, a parent, or just have a job and get along, that is your purpose. But live your purpose. And if you find spirituality in this, then that's a bonus. But as long as you're living what you're supposed to be doing and you're doing it, that's success. That's success right there. Success ain't just watching people on TV being able to buy extraordinary cars. I mean, why do you think they throw that in our face so much? These young people driving these cars and have all this money. What does Sly call it? Illusion of wealth. Because they want you to want what they have. So you'll never be satisfied with what you have. I know people live in $1 million homes and these people ain't satisfied. I'm sitting in there, we just kicking it. It's like they're telling me shit, and I'm like listening to them like, God damn, you own a business, you live in this house, and you still ain't satisfied. I don't understand it. I tell him that shit. I'm like, I don't understand it. Why aren't you satisfied? You're successful. And he still doesn't really feel he's successful. And both him and his wife are nice, lovely people and both successful. And I give him shit all the time. I'm like, because it's enough. He's showing me some old shit. He's like, man, should I buy this? I'm like, fuck no, don't buy that gaudy ass shit. What the fuck, you gonna wear that to work? You gonna wear this gold encrusted chain to work? What you do? Let you go wear it under your clothes. And I'm just laughing. Like, yeah, you can get a bracelet and shit. Motherfucker always wear a Rolex. He ain't got it iced out or nothing, but he wear a Rolex. And I just laugh at him because he's still not satisfied. And I ask him often, what would make you satisfied? And like, what is your purpose? Because he does not do his purpose. Even though he's successful and got everything. I talk about him all the time. He's the one. I had another friend that didn't make it through the pandemic. Owned a bunch of restaurants. He ain't make it. This guy I'm talking to, he made it. He made it. But the other dude I know, he was richer than that dude. His shit, he had like 7 or 8 restaurants. And I mean high-class restaurants. He didn't make it through the pandemic. It wiped him out. I mean, he's still okay, but he ain't doing like he was doing. He still calls me every now and then. I check on him. How you doing? He's trying to do other things, but he took a hard hit. You lose 8 restaurants, baby. You taking a hard hit. He ain't even survived with just 1. So that just shows you, just because you got money don't mean you're living your purpose. And the thing goes, are you living your highest good? Well, I guess you say good, bad. I'm sorry. But are you living your highest self, your highest vibration? That's another thing. Are there days where you purposely go through the day with a low vibration? Because you got an attitude and you snapping at people, your vibration's got to be low. Are you living that? I mean, are you still manipulating people? That's another thing. Are you still manipulating people? It's another thing you got to check. Because you going through your life manipulating people, you ain't living your highest self. If you got to manipulate people, because manipulation is lies and deceit, half truths, what kind of life is that? And I know a lot of people manipulate people to get ahead, and I see it catching up with some of them. Because that's not a way to survive either. They're not going to do it out of their natural will. What is the intention there? And you got to do something. Just because you can do it don't mean you should do it. I mean, I was looking at this badass ring, and I could have bought it. I had the money and everything to get it, but it was like, right now, I got other things I'm trying to do. And I'm vain, I'm vain. But I also look at the long, I look at the long picture. I don't need it. I saw Jesse in a wheelchair recently. Damn. Pontiac think they messing with your stream. Once you show the boule, the stream shut off. And it says 42 views. Damn. And what's funny is I live off 42nd Street. Like one of the main highways here is 42. And I live like 3 minutes from 42. So, but yeah, it's there. That's so funny. Now it says 24 views. And I knew that starting all over again, that the way they play the game. I started streaming again and I lost like 10 subscribers. How is that possible? It's like I started talking again and 10 people was like, damn, that really made me mad. I'm unsubscribed from him. I mean, is that if you watch my shows, you think I got any 10 people that mad that they disagree with me that much where they would unsubscribe from me? I mean, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I mean, if a person gets on your nerves and you listen to him all the time, then you unsubscribe. Oh, they just changed it. They changed it to 23. But yeah, I live right off 42nd Street. Yeah, so every day, if I go north, I hit 42nd Street. As a matter of fact, it's pretty much that leads to the highway, so I've kind of got it. Well, not really. There's a couple of other ways, because if I go south, there's a highway near me. 35 is near me. But yeah, if I go north and want to hit 35 going north, I have to go to 42nd Street. So it's like a daily reminder. It's a daily reminder. So, well, y'all, you know how I like to leave things. Let me see if I can have a little joke. Because I just think shit is so freaking funny. Okay.
Oh, shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it. No goddamn money, you can get it.
Talk to me. You
No goddamn money, you can get it.
I ain't got no coke left.
Your lines are still open. Oh, shit, you can get it, nigga. You wanna get it. No goddamn money, you can get it.
Talk to me. You ain't got a gun in your hand.
Oh, that shit is funny to me. That shit is so funny to me. From Superfly. You can get it, nigga. The lines are still open. That ain't. Let me see if I can.
Now, this organization would kind of close that off. Like a solitary rat.
I can't get it.
Big stables. Does that mean they get more turf? The organization will see that. My bitches. You saying you can't control your bitches?
You say you can't control your bitches? You say you can't control your bitches? You say you can't control your bitches? 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 You got to have vision. No, let me get it right. You got to have vision. You got to have vision. Vision. You can't control your bitches. You can't control your bitches. Oh, that shit is so funny to me. You can't control your bitches. You got the line, nigga. Oh, I love that shit. You got the line, nigga. And he said, you don't be talking shit when you ain't got no gun. You can't control your bitches. So my final word is, you better control your bitches. No disrespect for anybody out there. Don't, the ladies don't get mad. It's just comedy. Well, y'all, I'ma leave tonight with the silliness. Tomorrow is Thursday right now. Yeah, look for me tomorrow. I will be coming in probably in the afternoon and then late night too. So this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I have been your super funky host. Thank you for all the support. Really, thank you for all the input, questions. I try to answer it the best way I can. I try to be the best I can be. And I hope you accept that. And I'll try to do better tomorrow night. So this is the Chocolate Mountain Show.